Hi YouTube, I just wanted to put a quick video together discussing the media portrayal of silver stackers or PM investors in general and why it's actually a good thing that the media seems to be against us. So if you were dying of thirst and you were presented with a choice, a glass of ice water or the promise of a glass of ice water, what would you choose? Kind of a simple question, kind of an obvious one, and yet in our financial system it becomes a little bit more complex, right? Do you invest in real money? Or do you invest in the promise of money, oh by the way, whose value erodes over time? So that by the time you get that glass of water, it's much less than what you were originally promised. Isn't that what we're really faced with today? The decline of the dollar is by design. The Fed wants a weaker dollar. My eroding paycheck and my spending power on commodity-fueled expenses like groceries and gas hate it. But it is what it is. It's not going to change. That is the Fed mandate. They are going to lower the value of the dollar. It's a race to the bottom. But you know what? An ounce of silver will always be an ounce of silver. That is why I'm investing in what I'm investing in. So why doesn't the financial media pick up on this, or the media in general? Why don't they seem to get the story? Some of it's obvious. I think in the case of the financial media, it's self-interest and self-preservation. Do you think you'll ever find a financial analyst that's going to basically go against his own paycheck and tell you to invest off the grid and invest in precious metals? No, of course not. But when was the last time you heard someone on TV discuss the beauty and joy from investing in physical precious metals? All I see from CNBC is every now and then Dennis Gartman will get on. Now, mind you, Dennis Gartman has some pretty sophisticated investment strategies, but he'll get on and he'll just kind of chuckle every time they mention silver and say he stays away from it. It's far too volatile for him. You know, he never mentions just buying and holding and dollar cost averaging. You know, that would be too simple. Every time they have an economist on, one word is said over and over again: unsustainable. Our path is unsustainable. I've heard it a million times. But you know what? They never finish the thought. They never tell you what's at the end of unsustainable, what the next step is. People never really get that next step. What comes after unsustainable? It's almost like watching The Sixth Sense and never getting to see that Bruce Willis is actually dead. There are three choices the way that I see it with our current financial situation. Either we grow our economy so that 16 trillion seems like a small number. Okay, think about it like this. If you have 10,000 in credit card debt and you make 20,000 a year, it's a problem. If you get a raise to 100,000 a year, suddenly that 10,000 is manageable. Or we can print our way out of it. Well, if we're going to do that, this is where I want my money. And I think that's the most likely thing that we're going to do, is we're going to keep printing until somebody somewhere loses faith in the dollar. I mean, how happy do you think China and the rest of the countries in the world are that we're the world's reserve currency and yet we're treating our dollar like toilet paper? Or the worst case scenario really is the default of the dollar. If there's a fourth scenario, I'd like to hear it, but those are the three choices facing us, and none of them are good. I think what they're going to end up doing is just printing and printing and printing. So there was a story in the media recently that kind of cracked me up. I'm beyond the point of being irritated by stuff like this. It just doesn't really matter. Famed Red Sox and White Sox catcher Carlton Fisk, his home was burglarized, and almost $1 million worth of silver coins was stolen from his home. So, I mean, that begs the question of home security, but that's not what this is really about. I'm really more worried about, or not worried, but more interested in how the media portrayed this story. So I highlighted some of the relevant portion here, and I'll just read from this. Reported on Friday by the Sarasota, Florida Herald Tribune to be stolen thousands of dollars in collectible silver coins and nothing else from a home valued at nearly $862,000. Silver coins? A little odd to be stolen. Yes, because it's so odd to steal silver coins. Also a little odd to collect, the author says. Though it depends, are we talking like old buffalo nickels? Yeah, which aren't even silver, and such? Or is Deadspin Wonders something sold by the Franklin Mint that might have the cast of The Wizard of Oz on it for all we know? So they're basically making a joke out of it here, that Carlton Fisk would diversify his investments with a little bit of silver. So at the very end, they go on to say, you'd say it was doomsday preppers grabbing silver in order to melt it down and then trade it for food after the Mayan apocalypse. So are preppers really preparing for the Mayan apocalypse? Or really are they looking at the financial situation that we're in and adjusting accordingly? I think we know the answer to that, but look at how the media treats it like it's a joke. There was another article on Pudge Fisk, too, that really had kind of the same theme. Also, think about the guy in Las Vegas that was found with $7 million worth of gold. It was a hoard. A hoard, not a collection, not an investment. Warren Buffett invests. This guy was hoarding. Now, think about the negative connotation that the word hoarding brings now, from the show Hoarders and everything else. So this guy was basically a recluse, and he was hoarding his gold. He wasn't investing in it. The guy was basically as secure as can be. He had $7 million of gold in his house. I don't see a problem with that. I basically aspire to be that guy. But they want to portray precious metals investors as like weird recluses who, are anti-government. I can promise you guys, none of my coworkers think I'm weird. I'm basically as average a normal guy as you can get. I'm just looking at the world, I'm looking at the financial world, and I realize that traditional investing is not the way to go anymore. Period. Also, Adam Lanza's mom. Look at the way that she was treated after it came out that she was a prepper. Ooh, scary word, prepper. So, given all of this is huge, especially for new stackers. If the media started pointing people in the direction of precious metals, silver would dry up quickly, really quickly, and your new least favorite expression would be out of stock, because every time you went to your favorite vendor, you'd see next to your favorite coin, out of stock. And that would begin to get really hard. David Morgan has a great saying about that. This was about silver. He said, everyone should own a little, not everyone can. The market's small. Once the media start pointing people in the direction of silver, it'll be gone quicker than you know. So use this to your advantage. Use it to stack hard now while silver is still cheap. I just made a pretty big purchase. I'm pretty psyched to show it to you guys, and we'll have an unboxing once it comes in. And I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, guys.